for you ASMR folks. I haven't had my water, but it's Thursday, July 3rd. It's a half day in the stock market. So I know this particular episode is going to get listened all weekend. So to anybody that's trading 0-day options that expire today at 1 o'clock, I mean, come on. You're asking to blow up your account. Whether it's up or down, you're just taking too much chance. But we got a big show. I am going to review. And yes, there will be some ads for Trendspider and Seeking Alpha mixed in here. But I'm going to go over everything that I've given you in the last week or two and everything that's currently running and we'll go back even to October 9th. Then there's some crypto plays, some new stuff that you don't know about. Then again, the entire episode, I'm going to end the one with all ETFs are not created equal. Be careful which ones you choose. So again, listen to the end. But today is the last day. July 4th, by tomorrow, you have to be subscribed to my newsletter, okay? How do you get it? Well, you can go to Linktree. Linktree has it right here in the middle, okay? If you just want to go directly to the newsletter, it's dailystockpick.substack.com. And you just sign up. It is literally subscribe. Put your email address in. Your email address enters you to win a year of Trendspider, and not the lower portion. You're getting the Mac Daddy, the advanced. And I tell everybody, if it's within your budget, get the advanced. Why? Because at $107 a month, it sounds expensive, but you get up to 52 trainings per year. So that's one per week. Okay. So say 4 a month, divide that by $107 in a month. It's like $26 and change. For a training, think of it, how much do you pay for a tennis lesson? How much do you pay for a tutoring session for your kids? How much do you pay for a golf lesson? Again, $26 for a one-on-one with a product expert for an hour a week, learning the tool. You can't get better. That's why I say get the advanced. If you can't afford the advanced, don't miss out on standard, premium, or enhanced. The premium is the one that I would tell you to go and get because it's the most economical. It's half the price of the advanced, but you only get 2 trainings per year. For somebody that wants to learn on their own, that's probably fine. Sign up for an annual plan and get my 4-hour algorithm and all the tools that I use. Okay, it needs to be an annual plan. But you can even try this out for as little as $7 for 2 weeks. So if you're not sure that you're going to use it, you're not sure you're going to like it, go and look at it this weekend. Go and try it. $7, take the 3-day weekend and go and try Trendspider. But remember, you could win a full year by just signing up for my newsletter. And it's free. There's no cost. So I want to just announce, by the way, we were just debating this on YouTube. Shy put out a tweet that he's doing the Compound and Friends with Josh Brown. That means one of my friends on Spaces has actually made it. I'm still the low person who can't even get them to respond, although Josh Brown has written to me a couple of times. But again, it's just like, fandom kind of thing. So if you listen to the Compound this weekend, you may hear Shy. Go and tell Shy you listened to the Compound because of Gary from Daily Stock Picks. He'll get a kick out of it. I mean, we've talked about doing a podcast together. Very, very nice. I really like Shy, and he's super, super smart. I mean, the man has just done a great job. So I want to point out a couple of things. Okay, this particular quote from Peter Lynch hit me yesterday. It's from Earnings Hub, and you know I love Earnings Hub. And Hamid from Earnings Hub, if you're on Twitter, go and follow him as well. He's got such a great outlook on stocks, and he's got his own pick. I think his pick now is Rivian. I'm not a fan of it, but the elevator pitch makes sense. But Peter Lynch says far more money has been lost by investors trying to anticipate corrections than lost in the corrections themselves. That quote right there will tell you if you missed out on any of this, okay? It doesn't mean you wait for a pullback. It means if your outlook and your time horizon is over 1 year, just buy now. And the numbers will confirm dollar cost averaging underperforms just buying. Just buy it. If you got $100,000 to buy, just buy. Traditionally, dollar cost averaging is a good way to get into the market. But the numbers, go and have a discussion with Perplexity. The numbers say just buy. And even though we're at all-time highs, just buy. If your outlook is more than 1 year, I can almost look at everybody in the face and say, I am, 50%, 60% certain that over 1 year, unless there is a major financial issue, we will be higher. And that has been true for the last 20 years, okay, except for a few years. So understand exactly what this means. Understand exactly what it means for your portfolio. And here's some things, okay? Yesterday saw a golden cross. We talk about golden cross all the time in the S&P 500. It saw a golden cross. So this is on the daily, okay? This happens when the faster 50-day moving average moves above the slower 200-day moving average. All things considered, this is yet another reason to expect better than average returns. Bullish crosses, again, you may not believe in these charts, but a bullish cross, when you go back and you look at it, it has been signaled to a move higher. Doesn't mean you're going to get it tomorrow. Doesn't mean that it's coming in right away, but it does. It's what's called a bullish move. Go and Google golden cross. Okay, Grok answered it for somebody that asked me what it was. And not sure what I did wrong here, but I made some mistakes. Here's the thing. A 10% gain in Q2, which we did have after being down in Q1. Okay, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times that it's happened before, you've never been lower in Q3 and Q4. Up nearly 16% the final 6 months of the year. That's important because we're at all-time highs. What if we could go up 16%? Then those are the new all-time highs. We have talked about how you never peak in June. So again, all of the things that are pointing me towards this are saying, hey, we are going higher. Could we go lower? Absolutely. I'm no soothsayer. There comes risk with investment, but everything that I read says we're going higher. Now, I'm going to talk about this, okay? Let's just go over the newsletter. Again, the newsletter, you get it for free. So let's just go over some of the things that I gave you this week, okay? We will go over, look at this one, this Tuesday one. This Tuesday one, I'm going to stop that one. But the Tuesday one, there was a lot in here. And again, you go down to the pod notes. I've entered the seasonal trade of TQQQ, and I'm up on that one. I talked about GMS. We talked about CORZ. That one's up. Okay. Then I gave you the strong buys in Alpha Picks, CCL, ATG, and T-Mobile. But I told you, hey, Red Robin is a good buy. In researching the Alpha Picks EAT, I said this one may look like maybe a better opportunity. RRGB. So let's just go look at RRGB. Well, RRGB, since I gave you that, you're up 19.7%. That's fantastic. Okay? That's fantastic. Let's just scroll down a little bit more. You know, Trump telling you what's going to happen. He's telling you he wants 1%. You know, that's why we know. We know Apple. I said, hey, anything about 200? What are you at, 210, 215? Nice move there. SoFi soaring to new highs. Good thing. It hasn't come out who's getting TikTok, but Apple loving. Then I went over Robinhood. I talked about tokenization. They made that huge announcement. During the podcast, I said, you know, I think it's going to hit 100. And boom. It hit 100 yesterday. Now, if you had the 4-hour algorithm, you're up 141%. I have to update this from yesterday. We'll just update this because you're up 162% where you're trading right now in the 4-hour algorithm. Since I mentioned it, again, it was selling for 92. You hit 100. There's a nice little 8, 9, 10% gain. Fantastic. Again, that's a good one. So let's go back to the newsletter just on Tuesday. This is just Tuesday, okay? And it is bull giving off hood vibes. Trendspider called this one out. Remember, anything that Robin does, Webull follows. So let's go look at Bull. What did Bull do yesterday? Bull, right now, it's up 4%. Let's go and look at it. Yesterday, you were up 11%. There's 3 stocks right there. Red Robin, Bull, and Hood, just in Tuesday's newsletter. Okay, that's just Tuesday's. So anybody that says, I'm not giving you gold, again, that's Tuesday's newsletter. And by the way, just so you know, with Webull, they sent me this last night. This sounds almost too good to be true. Now, this total APY, 8.1%, that's for the first 30 days, but it's still a great offer. And they're offering to match 2%. I'll put this in the newsletter if you want the link, because it does come with some added benefits if you use the link that I have. So, again, anybody that says I only pump affiliates, F you. And how I'm selling my text alert services, you're an ash. Die poor. Die poor, douchebag. Because I just gave you 3 in Tuesdays. Okay? And by the way, just so you know, Robinhood has gotten cheaper. Here's the PE ratio going down while the stock is going up. It's gotten cheaper. Stop sleeping on the fundamentals. The fundamentals matter, but it's gotten cheaper. So it's huge. So let's just go over where I found these. Red Robin. How did I find Red Robin? I was researching EAT because it's an alpha pick. Okay. And I found these takeover targets. This was, let's see, this one. Which restaurant chains could be taken over? And I found it. And Red Robin is down here with EAT. Boy, that's how I found it. Again, using the tools that you have. Where did I find Webull? I found it on Twitter from Trendspider. You should be following Trendspider on Twitter. Robinhood to 100, it was just in my head that stocks that have that momentum will reach 100. Okay, that's it. That's as simple as it can get. And when you're in a bull market and momentum is a strong thing. Now let's go over what I'm currently pumping from my tools. Okay, TQQQ. Let's just go over this one. I told you that I entered this one in. I'm up 5%. I told you. Why? Because Trendspider has the seasonality. Let's go back 15 years to 2010. Let's go back 15 years. And I said the first 2 weeks of July are really good. Again, die poor, douchebag, because you're not getting the tools. These are the tools that I use. I'm not selling you a service. I'm not selling you anything. I'm selling you something that you can use for yourself and make you money. Now, how did I get Carnival Cruise Line? Because Carnival Cruise Line, if we go and look, Carnival Cruise Line, I said, you know what? My 4-hour algorithm has you out with a nice 23% gain, but I would buy this before the earnings. And I said I would buy this before the earnings. You're up 23% since I said that. If you had the 4-hour algorithm and you bought here and you sold out, you're up almost 60%. Okay, and that's from Alpha Picks. That's this portfolio. It wasn't anything other than Alpha Picks. I had a nice debate with Wolfie yesterday on Twitter Spaces about whether Carnival or Royal Caribbean. They're both in Alpha Picks. This is a great portfolio. So again, if you have both tools, if you had Alpha Picks, maybe you looked at it and you said, ooh, it's a strong buy in the quant, and they're going into earnings. And I know from living with 55 and older folks, they love freaking cruises. They're going on, they can't get enough. So I gave you this one. Again, 23% so far. And that was from Alpha Picks. And I did my research on Seeking Alpha. Then I told you DPST. I talked about this one on the podcast. I said, you know what? In the scans, DPST, the logic behind it? Well, the logic behind it is, hey, the 4-hour algorithm makes you 148% in this triple leveraged ETF on regional banks. What's coming up? Deregulation. It's up 28% so far. 28% so far. Again, using the tools that I have, which is the 4-hour algorithm, that's it. You're up 28%. Now, another one, I was just sitting around and I was showing Seeking Alpha, and I said, ooh, let's look at this one, SEZL. I said I didn't like it, but boy, the quant loves it. It's a strong buy. Okay? So I went over here and I said, ooh, it's not bad. 1 month, up 61%. Let's just go over SEZL since I went over it. Right there. Since I went over it, you're up 11%. Again, the tools that I have, there's nothing that I use. You have confirmation on this one. If you bought it at $34, boy, aren't you happy because it's $172. Let's look at this one. That is 404% over 84 days. Again, gave it to you, handed it to you, and it was from Seeking Alpha. It wasn't from me. It's from Seeking Alpha. And then I said, one of the tools that I have is my 4-hour algorithm in Trendspider. And I said, you know what? MSTR just came up with a buy at 384. But I said, you may want to just double leverage this one. You're up 7% in just 8 days since it crossed on the 4-hour algorithm. Yes, I published that in the newsletter. So, again, if you want Seeking Alpha, they're on sale. I just told you about Alpha Picks and I showed you the quant and stuff like that. I didn't find these. Most of these were just doing research, and it was just scanning and it was looking at opportunities and using both tools. This is the Gary bundle. You get Trendspider and you get the bundle here. It's Alpha Picks and Seeking Alpha Premium. Okay, Alpha Picks, we went over it. It is a data-driven portfolio. You get a pick on the 1st. We just got one. You get a pick on the 15th of each month. And they tell you when to sell. And you can see from the performance, it's unbelievable. This is just since June 19th. It's gone up since then. I just haven't updated the picture. Now, if you don't want the portfolio and you just want Seeking Alpha Premium, because what do you get with this? Well, you get AI-powered virtual analyst reports. You get the screeners, which I just found a bunch of crypto screeners, ETFs, which I'll go over. You get the quant rating. You get unlimited premium. But you also get the top second half 2025 stocks, which I went over, which is outperforming the market in just 7 days. You also get the top 2025 stocks from back in January, which are outperforming the market incredibly. Some of them up almost 100%. Alpha Picks outperforming on every time frame now, up 21% in just 3 months. So here's the thing. If you had gotten Alpha Picks, okay, 3 months ago, and you said, yeah, I'm going to buy the portfolio. Okay. If you had put $5,000 into the portfolio, the cost is $399 for this. You would have made over $1,000 with your 21% gain. So you do you, boo. But the reality of it is, I'm not pumping these affiliates. I'm literally telling you they make me money. So you still don't have enough? Let's kind of go over this. If you don't have enough, I brought up Poet. Okay, small cap semis look great here. Here are the top quant rated stocks by Seeking Alpha measurement. Okay, Poet is mentioned. Poet is the only smaller cap that has a strong buy. In 5 days, you're up 1%. Yesterday it was up 10%, and I brought this up just Tuesday. So yesterday, you're up. It's a buy the dip situation. 52-week range, it's going to 779. You're trading at 577. What do analysts think? They think it's worth 663. Again, you do you, boo. And then maybe you were just, you're a paid member of my newsletter. Okay? And so April 15th, a stock that might be a boom with tariff negotiations and a stock that might be insulated from tariffs. These were 2 stocks, okay? The first one that might be used in the negotiations, Cheniere Energy. Since I mentioned it, up 10%. Simple as that. Simple as that. The other one that's insulated from the tariffs, Melly. This one, you could have made 30% since I mentioned it. So again, maybe I'm just, somebody that's shilling out there the paid stuff. But again, the point is, I can talk all about the great tools that I have. I can put everything great in the newsletter, but it's up to you to take action. Did I take these trades? No. But I help you find them. There are plenty out there that I miss that you could find using the tools yourself. I hope the tools that you have help you just as much as the tools that I have. And if you don't have tools, go and find them. Because I'll tell you, one of the tools that I use is Apple Notes. I'm a huge fan of Apple. You know I'm a huge fan of Apple. Well, I was going over my notes yesterday because sometimes I just clean up my notes. I have a list of notes. And on October 9th, I saw this. Okay, October 9th, I wrote myself a note. And I know I included these in the podcast. So I said, okay, let me look at these. TAC, this one ran up from 10 to 15, 50% gain. Could have done that one. Use charts. APP, I knew it was an alpha pick, so I said, I want to buy it. 137 it was trading at that day. It's now at 334, 150% gain. And yes, I bought it. CLS, $66. Okay, it's now $153, 131% gain. Yes, I bought it. Powell, another alpha pick, $230. It's now $360. Boom, 56% gain. Great. MicroStrategy, $185. I like trading it on my 4-hour algorithm. But if you just listened to me and bought and held, $403, 117%. Fantastic. I tell you to buy and hold it. I did. $35 to 62, up 77%. This is the big daddy. PSIX. At this point on October 9th, 2024, it was trading for $11. And I said, buy it. I said, this is a top stock in Seeking Alpha. Doesn't make sense. It's $11, but it's flying. Today, it's trading at $72. That's a 554% gain. You talk about 10 baggers, that's a 554% gain. In what? 6, 7, 8 months? During the same time period, VOO went from 530 to 577%. Enjoy being poor, douchebag. Enjoy being poor. So again, you can buy this stuff if you want, but just know there is something that I tell, one of the other things that I tell people is Bitcoin. It's going to 150. Go and watch this video. I made the prediction at the beginning of the year that I think Bitcoin will be at 150 at some point in time this year. IBIT just went to a strong buy. We'll talk more about crypto. I tell people to buy IBIT, to buy Bitcoin when it was at 80K. We're at 100. My prediction still remains. Go and do it. Okay? And then the jobs report yesterday. It's all about tariffs. The jobs report, we're seeing a jobs report this morning that shows the jobs are plentiful, markets flying. So then we've got the tariffs, the July 9th tariffs. So what happened? Well, Amazon CEO told Cramer last night, we did a lot of forward buying in the past several months, and a lot of it, our third-party selling partners forward deployed a lot of inventory to avoid some of the issues with the uncertainty around tariffs. And we have so far not seen any appreciable tariff inflation. So again, is this something you want to pay attention to? I'm a big fan of Amazon, but we just went over how the market may be higher in the later months. And again, I'm not selling an affiliate. I'm just giving you information. And FYI, the layoffs have started. My brother was one of the 9,000 that was laid off yesterday. And just understand, these are real people with real jobs. As an investor, I'm always rooting for lower costs from companies that I invest in because this boosts shareholder returns. I do think AI is going to quickly hit the job market. So I think Powell has to lower rates, or else he's going to be way too late like he was in rising. I'm not criticizing Powell. I just think he does wait a little too long. Do I think the president should be criticizing him and calling him names the way he does? No. And I am worried about who he places in there and the sanctity and the individuality of the Fed. But I'm a little bit worried about that. But does it take me out of the market? No. Because if interest rates go to 1%, I don't know what the market's going to do. That's why I'm following the trend. And right now, if you look at a weekly trend of QQQ, and you anchor this one. I mean, I'm just going to show you how to do a report here, March of 2020, and you have to touch 3 points. So the more points you touch, the better that trend line is. Maybe this is the trend line, okay, at the bottom of the Bollinger Bands, but you're trading at the top of the Bollinger Bands. So I would put the more emphasis on the 50-day right there. Because if you go under the 50-day, it's a buy signal on QQQ on the weekly. Now the MACD, it's kind of up there, almost 16 points above. The RSI at 63. Am I getting in here? No, but I may be making a mistake like Peter Lynch said at the beginning of the episode. Just understand, a lot of stocks like Microsoft are at all-time highs. It's a little bit tough out there. And again, Microsoft is laying everybody off. And I think this has a lot to do with AI. And I think we start to see this over and over again. Now, Bullish Byte said, hey, do you mind including, I put this out with the October 9th. And he said, hey, Powell's great one. These guys are great, by the way. You should follow them as well. You mind going over Shopify? No. I mean, this is a core portfolio stock. The 4-hour algorithm makes half of what buying and holding makes you. But I have put in some trend lines here. This trend line, we broke it. Once you broke it, boy, wouldn't that have felt good to buy this one at $69 in August of last year? We broke it. And now we're on this green trend line. And you're right at that trend line. Do I think we're going back to all-time highs? I do think so. Will we follow this trend line? The market will only tell. On a weekly basis, the MACD's right at the oscillator. The RSI's at 57. Let's go look at some of the fundamentals, because fundamentals do matter. This is an expensive stock. The valuation, 82 times forward earnings. Their PEG ratio, 3.81. That's high. But their growth, phenomenal. 26% revenue growth year over year. Earnings per share gap growth year over year, 1,450%. Fantastic. A- in the quant. Profitability, they're killing it. To B+ in the profitability. Momentum, you can't beat it. 1 year, you're up 73 effing percent. The sector's up 3%. That's fantastic. Revisions, little bit concerning, because only 3 analysts in the last 90 days have brought up earnings per share up, earnings per share down, 31. And revenue, 18 up, 26 down. Now, say you know nothing about how to read this stuff. Well, that's the great part of Seeking Alpha. They go over it all for you. And they will go over the valuation, the growth, the profitability, the momentum, the revisions, and even include the positives and the concerns raised by the analysts. So you can go and make an educated decision about whether you want to buy this company. Maybe you want to buy one of the competitors, Wix, Squarespace, BigCommerce. And maybe you just say, you know what? Information technology in the internet and infrastructure, I want to buy one of these. GDS. This is the number one. And boy, over the last 5 days, it's up 2.39%. Over the last 1 month, you're up 26%, and it's still a strong buy. Still a strong buy. When did it go to a strong buy? At $26. You're at $30. That's a great return. And this one is getting, I think this is the one that's getting bought. But I like this one. Again, valuation, you can go and look at it. What does Wall Street think that it's worth? They think it's worth $41. That's 35% upside. So am I in Shopify? No. Do I want to get into Shopify? I have always said that I want to get back into Shopify. But I like it under $100. The 114 buy right here, you win 46% of the time. So for me, with a company like this, I'd much rather buy it under the 200 day, which comes along, than buy it up here. But I may be missing out. Again, I think that they have it's a great company with great products, with great management, and great profits. So again, I'm just concerned about the valuation, but I may miss it. You guys are younger, and this may be one of, again, we talk about, what stocks will make you a millionaire in 10 to 15 years. Maybe this is one. Maybe. For me, though, I'm just kind of staying out of it. And then what's another retail darling that I get asked about? It's Oscar Health. Oscar Health was down 18% yesterday, got down to 16. Okay, I've said this before. Oscar Health, it's expensive. It's a buy in the quant. Personally, I like it here more than I like it at 23. Even though everybody's talking about this one going up, it's got a 13% short interest. So you will see big ups and big downs. That's why I like to trade it. So you can use Seeking Alpha all you want, but for things like this, I like to use the 4-hour algorithm. And the 4-hour algorithm still has you in from this buy at 1580. Now, would I have gotten out? Probably. Because once you break that 9-day on the 4-hour algorithm, I don't like it. I don't like it. And it's going to get you out soon. The RSI is at 39. It's up a little bit today. Would I be buying this one? No. I'm not trading this one. They are my insurance company, and I may be a little bit suspect. But that support at $13, that's when you want to buy it. Yes, it's expensive. Okay? The valuation is great. They're not making money, but their growth is phenomenal. Phenomenal. But healthcare, we know healthcare. We know what the big, beautiful bill does. It actually cuts some of the spending. Where does Oscar make their money? From some of those healthcare initiatives. So where does the big, beautiful bill land? Well, chip stocks gain after the larger credits in the Trump's big, beautiful bill. You got Intel, you got Taiwan Semi, you got Micron, you got Global Foundries, and you got ADI. So maybe you want to take a look at those. Again, that bill is a huge one. And now we're going to go into crypto. Okay, because I probably need to put my sweater vest on to become one of the crypto bros. Because I was watching Nick on this guy Nick. He's a comedian and he does such great stuff on Twitter about I think it's Choose Rich. If you just go Choose Rich, you can see Nick. But he was talking about Solana last night, and it kind of hit me. Okay, we now have a Solana ETF. It launched July 2nd, 2025, marking a significant milestone. This is Perplexity, by the way. I just literally went to Perplexity and I just typed in Solana ETF and it gave me everything I needed to know. Okay? Now, I said, what does it have to do with staking? And if you don't know what staking is like a dividend. It is like an interest payment for you holding this token. And they give you, but you have to hold the token. Okay? So the Solana ETF, SSK, is directly tied to staking because it not only gives you investors exposure to the price of Solana, but also actively stakes all funds held on the chain. This means SOL tokens owned by the ETF are used to participate in the proof of stake network, which helps secure the blockchain and in return generates staking returns, currently 7.3%. 7.3%. If I told you there was a stock out there, an ETF, paying you 7.3%, would you take it? Maybe. But we don't have enough information about the ETF. Remember, it just launched. So my question would be, can this ETF, the ticker symbol's SSK, it's not covered by the quant, just out, but can it give you a 7% return while allowing you exposure to Solana, which is a fairly big token? Now, I don't know enough about crypto to tell you I'm bullish on this one. I just found this particular one because I know the SEC didn't allow staking returns with the ETF. And does this become, hey, when the ETF actually pays out the staking returns at 7%, is this going to crash the next day? I don't know. We don't have enough information. But I thought it was interesting. And there's another Solana ETF, SOLZ. It's been out for about a month or so. Okay, I don't know the difference between the two. Go and do your own research. Go and look at them. But I thought that was a big one. And oh, by the way, the one that I hold is IBIT for Bitcoin. Okay, I hold IBIT for Bitcoin. And here's the shocker. The quant just moved it to a strong buy at its 52-week and all-time high. It moved it to a strong buy. Why? The momentum. I've been going over this one. 1 month returns 5%, 6 months returns 12%, 1 year returns 77%. So again, I like this one. And understand, all ETFs are not created equal. You need to do your research. You need to look at the returns. I bring up one of the biggest Bitcoin ETFs, GBTC. Over 1 year, look at the return. Okay, IBIT has given you 77% return. It's close to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's at 81%. Okay, GBTC is up 57%. So I'm not actively tracking all of the ETFs with Bitcoin. You can do that if you want. But again, understand all ETFs are not created equal. You need to do your research. The ones I have, I've researched, I'm comfortable with. If somebody else points something out to me, then I'm going to get out of this one and move into something else. But right now, I'm comfortable buying IBIT. And how do I buy IBIT? Again, I am giving you my strategy. During the 4-hour algorithm, when it tells me to buy, I buy. Did I buy at this 61? No, I didn't. We're at 62. I'm hoping to get it under 60. I didn't listen, but I have a large enough position that when I use these moving averages to buy under the 50-day, I buy a larger amount until I get to 100% of my position. And boy, this range that I was saying, hey, we're setting up for a move. We made a move down. So during that time, I said, okay, I'm going to buy it there. Well, what happened? Well, you get right back to this range right here. Okay, you get right back to that range right now. And we're moving sideways. I don't know where it's going to go. But what I can tell you is during this time, the MACD was significantly higher. Looks like we're going for a move again. So all the indicators tell me that we're moving. So it's a good thing. Again, the market is up. IBIT is down. But the Qs right now, we just opened up 0.60 up. We're in a bull market. I just went over everything that I gave you. Now, if you want any of these tools, again, it's a July 4th sale. And this will be listened to all weekend. So Trendspider, the top link on Linktree right there. Get the sale. Get the sale. The second link is the Seeking Alpha Premium and Alpha Picks bundle. Get the sale. It's still on discount. Okay? The third link on Linktree is Seeking Alpha Premium. That's by itself. It comes with a free 7-day offer. Let me give you a hack. Go and get the free 7-day trial. Go and look up the top 2025 stocks because they're set to go up for through the end of the year. So maybe you're buying at a good time. And then get the second half stocks because maybe they'll go up for the rest of the year as well. And then the fourth link, Alpha Picks. That is the data-driven portfolio that outperforms the S&P. And it has proven to me it is a great, great tool. Again, they give you such great insights into these stocks. And they tell you how to buy. Now, in the newsletter, again, it's the last day to sign up to be entered in to win a year of Trendspider just by subscribing to the newsletter. But I also provide you, at the end of the newsletter, what I call scans. And what I do is I scan watch lists, I scan indexes, and I scan everything for bullish entries in the 4-hour algorithm for all these stocks. When you sign up for a yearly plan of Trendspider, I give you the 4-hour algorithm. I give you the 65-minute algorithm. I give you a 1-hour algorithm. I give you all of the watch lists that I use to scan against. I give you the scanners that I've developed. So again, if you don't want to buy Trendspider, I give you these for free. Go and use your own tools. So for anybody who's saying, oh my God, all he's selling, I want to see everybody who's made money off this podcast reply to those douchebags in any of the comments and say, douchebag, you're not listening. Die poor. Hashtag die poor. That's the hashtag, die poor. But today I'll give you a bunch of leveraged ETFs, some low cost Vanguard ETFs. VNQ is the one, low cost Vanguard. Again, I've gone through all of these. This is the real estate. And two of the spider sectors, XLE and XLRE. So again, if you have any questions here on Linktree, my email address is up there. If you get to subscribe to the newsletter, you can just reply to the newsletter. I'll reply to your email. Have a great weekend. Enjoy July 4th. We'll be back Monday and I'll have more picks for you. Okay, take care. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears.